Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that everything you thought you were, your body, your mind, your story, is just the surface of a vast and unseen reality pulsing within and around you. Most people walk through life believing they are defined by the mirror: skin, hair, name, occupation. But beyond this fragile shell is something far more profound, something science is only just beginning to measure and philosophy has whispered about for centuries. You are an energy field, conscious and dynamic, interacting with the world through frequencies of thought, feeling, and intention. Modern physics has shattered the illusion of solidity. Nobel Prize-winning physicist Max Planck once said, "There is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force." At the quantum level, our cells, our tissues, even the chair beneath you are mostly empty space waves vibrating in patterns of probability. Scientists at institutions like the HeartMath Institute have shown that the human heart emits an electromagnetic field measurable up to 3 feet outside the body, and that this field responds instantly to emotional states like love, gratitude, and fear. In other words, how you feel is not just inside you, it is radiating outward, shaping your field, and silently influencing the people and environments around you. But this isn't just physics. It's personal. Think of a time you entered a room and immediately sensed tension before anyone spoke a word, or felt instantly at ease in the presence of someone calm and kind. That's not imagination. That's resonance. Your field, finely tuned over a lifetime of experience, is reading and responding to other fields, even when words say nothing. The ancient sages called it aura. Modern researchers call it a biofield. Either way, it is real, it is alive, and it is deeply yours. For those of us who have crossed 60, this understanding is more than interesting, it's empowering. We've lived through change, through grief and growth, and we've gathered wisdom not only in our minds but in our energetic memory. The field around you carries not just your history but your presence. And you can shape it. You are not at the mercy of invisible forces. You are one of them. A lifetime of thoughts, habits, and stories can be recalibrated not by force, but by awareness. Start small. Begin each morning by placing your hand over your heart and breathing slowly. Just 5 deep breaths, with your attention gently resting on a memory that brings warmth or peace. As you do, imagine your heart's field expanding like a soft, golden light flowing outward in waves. You're not just calming your nerves, you're changing your electromagnetic signature. Research confirms that such coherent, heart-focused breathing improves immune function, reduces stress hormones, and increases mental clarity. This is not mysticism. This is measurable physiology combined with ancient knowing. Then, as you move through your day, become a quiet observer. What thoughts do you allow into your mind? What emotions linger? Each one is a frequency adjusting the shape and tone of your field. Instead of trying to control the world around you, begin to care for the world within you. Picture yourself as the conductor of an invisible symphony. Your intention is the baton. Your awareness is the score. The music is your life. It's never too late to realign your field. In fact, your years have made you more sensitive, not less. You've seen enough to recognize what matters. So now, with the strength of your experience and the clarity of your insight, step into this deeper truth. You are not a passive passenger in the invisible sea of energy. You are a force within it. And every breath you take is a chance to direct that force toward peace, connection, and conscious living. What if I told you that every single thought you've ever had was not just some quiet whisper in your mind, but a real vibration that moves out from your body and shapes the space around you? This isn't poetry or fantasy. It's physics. Thought is frequency, and frequency carries energy. In the same way a stone dropped into still water creates ripples, your thoughts send waves into the energetic field that surrounds and connects all living things. Decades of research in neuroscience and quantum biology have confirmed that the brain generates measurable electromagnetic signals. Electroencephalograms, or EEGs, capture this activity as brainwaves delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma, each associated with a different state of consciousness. But what's rarely discussed is how these waves extend beyond the skull, influencing both the body and the environment. When paired with feeling, a thought becomes an intention, and intention, when focused, has the power to affect matter itself. Let me give you something simple to hold on to. Where attention goes, energy flows. That is not just a wise saying. Dr. William Tiller, professor emeritus at Stanford University, conducted experiments showing that human intention, when properly focused, could change the pH level of water and even speed up the growth rate of seeds. These aren't tricks. These are replicable studies demonstrating that the mind is not confined to the brain but acts as a field generator that organizes subtle energy. This may sound esoteric, but consider how familiar this really is. Have you ever thought of someone and then they called you minutes later? Or walked into a room only to feel instantly drained or energized without anyone saying a word? These aren't coincidences. They're examples of field interaction, your frequency brushing against another's, creating harmony or friction. Now imagine the practical implication of this. If your thoughts carry frequency, and frequency affects energy, then every time you dwell on fear, anger, or regret, you're programming your field with distortion. These emotional states pull you into lower coherence, like static in a radio signal. On the other hand, when you choose thoughts of gratitude, compassion, and presence, you raise the frequency of your field and bring it into resonance. The HeartMath Institute has measured this effect, showing that positive emotional states increase heart-brain coherence, which in turn improves immune response, decision-making, and even interpersonal connection. In short, the quality of your inner state becomes the architecture of your external life. So how do we put this into practice? Begin each day by checking in with the frequency of your mind. Ask yourself, what am I transmitting right now? Worry? Resentment? Hope? Curiosity? Don't judge the answer, just notice it. Then choose to shift. A practical exercise. Sit quietly, take 3 slow breaths, and picture a color that represents peace, maybe blue, maybe gold. As you inhale, imagine that color filling your mind like a sunrise. As you exhale, let it spread through your body. Repeat this for 1 minute. This isn't imagination alone. It's entrainment. You're resetting your frequency to align with clarity, not chaos. And the more often you do this, the more you train your field to respond not to old patterns, but to your present choice. You see, aging does not mean weakening. It means refining. You have the power now to become a clear signal in a world full of noise. Let your thoughts be intentional. Let your mind become a tuning fork for the reality you wish to live in. And most importantly, remember this simple truth. You are not a thought machine, you are a frequency sender. Every thought is a note, every feeling a tone. Together, they form the song of your field. Choose your music wisely. There is a quiet truth that echoes across both ancient teachings and modern laboratories. When your mind and energy field are aligned, you gain access to a deeper intelligence that lives beyond words. This intelligence does not come from textbooks or degrees, but from a place within you that remembers. It is a knowing that rises not from effort, but from resonance. The great mystics called it divine wisdom, while contemporary neuroscientists describe it as non-local consciousness, a state in which information seems to arrive through intuition, dreams, and sudden insight rather than linear thought. You may have experienced this before without realizing it. A sudden hunch that turned out to be right, an image in your mind that carried meaning, or a quiet voice that said go left instead of right, and saved you from something unseen. These aren't tricks of age or fantasy. These are glimpses of hidden knowledge accessed through alignment, when your mental and emotional states come into harmony with your energy field. Studies in neuroscience, particularly those exploring the default mode network (DMN) of the brain, show that when we enter meditative or contemplative states, this part of the brain, the seat of the ego and internal chatter, quietly dims. In these moments, a different kind of intelligence begins to surface. It's not just about calming the mind. It's about making space for what lies beneath it. Researchers from institutions like Johns Hopkins have shown that during deep states of mindfulness or altered consciousness, people often report access to profound insights, creativity, and personal clarity. This is not imagination, it's cognitive reorganization. And the entry point is coherence between your thoughts, your emotions, and your field. To access this, you do not need to abandon your routines or climb a mountain. You need only to begin listening within. Start with a question you care about, not a trivial one, but something sincere. Perhaps it is, what am I really here to do? Or what part of me have I not yet fully expressed? Then sit in stillness and breathe, not to force an answer, but to quiet the noise that normally drowns it out. As you breathe, visualize your thoughts and emotions settling like dust in a glass of water. After a few minutes, place your hand on your chest and feel the rhythm of your heart. Let the question rest there. Don't chase the answer. Let it rise when it's ready. Often it comes as a feeling before it forms into words. That is the language of your deeper mind. There's a reason many elders say they don't need as much noise to understand things anymore. With time, you begin to hear the world differently, not just with your ears but with your field. You can walk through a garden and feel what's out of balance without seeing a thing. You can meet someone and sense if their words match their energy. These are not gifts for the few. They are the birthright of everyone, especially those who have lived long enough to trust silence. The next step is learning how to tune yourself deliberately into that field of knowing. Align your breath with your values. Align your thoughts with your purpose. Align your energy with your intention. When all three meet, a doorway opens. Not a physical one, but a perceptual one. And what comes through is not just knowledge. It is wisdom that feels alive, practical, and entirely your own. So I invite you to treat your daily life as a sacred experiment. When you drink your morning coffee, ask, what am I aligning with today? When you speak with a friend, ask, what am I transmitting in this moment? When you rest at night, ask, what does my deeper self want me to remember? These questions are not meant to be solved. They are meant to be lived. You are not just a person seeking answers. You are a field learning how to listen. And in that listening, hidden knowledge becomes revealed not through books or theories, but through direct experience, steady, gentle, and unmistakably true. If your mind can influence your energy field, then the next natural step is to learn how to guide it with intention, just as a seasoned gardener tends to their soil. You do not need complex technology or mystical powers to do this. You need attention, breath, and the willingness to slow down enough to notice what is happening within you. For centuries, spiritual traditions have taught that the body is a vessel and the breath is the bridge between the visible and invisible. Now, science is catching up. Studies in psychophysiology have shown that slow, controlled breathing, especially at a rhythm of about 6 breaths per minute, can synchronize brainwaves and heart rhythms into a state called coherence. This coherence is not just a feeling of calm. It is a measurable state of optimal functioning where the nervous system, heart, and brain communicate in harmony. The HeartMath Institute, in particular, has produced decades of peer-reviewed research confirming that practicing heart-focused breathing improves emotional stability, cognitive clarity, and even immune response. But the breath alone is not the full instrument. Visualization is the companion that gives shape to intention. Think of your mind like a flashlight in a dark room. Wherever you shine it, you give form to what was once invisible. When you imagine yourself surrounded by a sphere of light, or see your body filling with golden warmth, you are not merely pretending. You are organizing your energetic field through imagery and focus. Brain scans have shown that when subjects visualize an action like lifting a cup or walking down a hallway, the same regions of the brain activate as when the action is physically performed. This means that your inner world has the power to create changes that your nervous system treats as real. So imagine for a moment that each morning, before the noise of the world rushes in, you sit in a quiet chair, close your eyes, and picture your body filling with soft light as you inhale. With each breath, the light grows steadier, spreading into your chest, your arms, your legs, and then beyond your skin, forming a quiet field around you. This field is not just a protective bubble. It is your frequency signature, and by shaping it deliberately, you enter the world with coherence, not confusion. Now add one more element: awareness without judgment. This is the practice of watching your own thoughts as they rise, like clouds drifting across the sky. You do not chase them and you do not fight them. You simply notice. Neuroscience confirms that mindfulness, the sustained non-judgmental observation of internal experience, reduces activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, and increases connectivity in the prefrontal cortex, which governs wise decision-making. This means the more you practice observing your mental activity without reacting, the more your brain begins to rewire itself toward clarity and calm. You become less of a victim to passing thoughts and more of a conductor guiding them into harmony. All of this may sound complex, but in truth, it is deeply human. Every one of us, especially those in later stages of life, carries the wisdom of rhythm inside us. We have felt the rise and fall of emotions. We have known moments of deep stillness, even if only by accident. Now is the time to choose that stillness on purpose. Begin with a daily ritual. Just 5 minutes in the morning. Sit, breathe, visualize light, and watch your mind. No pressure, no perfection, only presence. With time, you will begin to notice that your energy field becomes steadier. People may even tell you they feel calm around you. Challenges will still arise, but they won't rattle you as they once did. Why? Because you will have anchored yourself not in circumstance, but in consciousness. And that, dear reader, is the beginning of real mental control, not as force or domination, but as partnership with the deeper currents of your being. So begin today. Your energy is listening. To live as energy is not a metaphor. It is a shift in identity from being a body that thinks to being a field that creates. And this shift does not require you to deny your humanity, your stories, your aches, or your joys. It simply invites you to place them within a wider context. One where your presence is not confined to flesh and memory, but expands into vibration, influence, and silent wisdom. Science has already confirmed that the human body emits measurable electromagnetic signals, especially from the heart and brain, and these signals interact with the environment in ways that go far beyond what we were taught in school. But now, let us take this further. Let us begin to act from the understanding that we are not just in the world. We are of it. We shape it as it shapes us. When we sit in stillness and bring coherence to our breath, our thoughts, and our emotions, we are not merely calming down. We are tuning into a wider web of reality that listens and responds. We become part of a larger intelligence. And that intelligence is not out there in the stars. It is right here within your chest, between your thoughts, beneath your skin. It has always been with you, waiting to be remembered. Living as energy means that every encounter, every space you enter, every word you speak carries a frequency signature. It means that instead of reacting from old programs or fears, you choose to generate a field of peace, of clarity, of alignment. This is not about controlling others. It is about mastering your own state. Neuroscientist Dr. Joe Dispenza has conducted numerous studies measuring how focused intention combined with elevated emotion can produce changes in the brain, heart rhythms, immune function, and even gene expression. Participants in his workshops have shown the ability to enter measurable gamma brainwave states typically associated with heightened awareness and unity consciousness simply through focused meditation and intention. What this tells us is simple: your state of being is not fixed. It is a tool. And when used deliberately, it becomes your most powerful form of communication with life itself. So how do we embody this in daily life? Begin with small acts of energetic intention. As you walk into a room, pause and silently send out a frequency of welcome. Before a conversation, take 3 breaths and imagine the space between you and the other person filled with mutual respect. When a moment of frustration arises, treat it as a bell reminding you to shift your field rather than sink into reaction. These actions may feel subtle, but over time they become habits. And habits shape your baseline frequency, and your frequency shapes your life. The more you practice, the more intuitive it becomes. You may begin to notice when your field contracts, perhaps when you're watching too much news, dwelling on regrets, or rushing through your day, and when it expands, like when you walk among trees, listen deeply to a friend, or give thanks without needing a reason. These observations are not just feelings. They are data from your own inner instrument, guiding you back to alignment. And perhaps most powerfully, living as energy changes how you relate to aging. In a culture that often defines aging as decline, this perspective offers something radically different. Aging as refinement. With years comes sensitivity. With sensitivity comes awareness. And with awareness comes mastery. You do not need to chase youth to be radiant. You need only to align your energy so that it flows clearly, steadily, and with purpose. You become the elder whose presence shifts the room without speaking. The one whose silence carries more weight than noise. The one whose calm becomes a lighthouse for those still tossed by storms. This is your birthright. This is your offering. And this is your legacy. So live not just as a body or a name, but as a field. Wake each day not asking what you must do, but what you must become. Stand not in resistance to change, but in resonance with truth. And above all, remember this: the field is not something you control. It is something you become. And in becoming it, you do not disappear. You finally arrive.